And there might be much more voter fraud than we all feared. We take you inside the Acorn investigation. This is Fox and Friends.
And are we going to be still talking about voter fraud? I mean, could this election not be really resolved on November 4th? We're going to be speaking to our expert extraordinaire on the scene right here at Fox News, Eric Shawn. He's been doing some more digging, and he's going to be joining us with more on his findings with regard to voter fraud.
Gallup is trying to figure out who is going to be going to the polls, but the problem is a lot of people have already voted. And so when you look at the exit polls we're going to hear later in the day on November 4th, are those really going to be accurate? Because a third of the nation in some cases have already voted, and they're not going to be exiting.
That's kind of the way I feel about this whole poll thing in general. It would be interesting to look at history, although I do think that there are things that have changed this election cycle that have never happened before in history. But it'd be interesting to see how accurate the polls have actually been.
Because you brought up a great point. Gretchen got a call from what sounded like a national pollster. She would have weighed in on it. But
is this Gretchen Carlson? No.
She's got, look, here's the problem. She's got 2 kids at home. How many families at dinner time have gotten the call and they might have voted for John McCain or Barack Obama on the phone, but they said, look, I'm busy, which brings up the question, who exactly has the time for a half an hour to be debriefed by these polling agencies?
Shouldn't those kids be on their own by now, Gretchen?
They're only 3 and 5. Welcome back, everyone. We want to tell you about the new developments now in that ongoing investigation into Acorn and whether they're committing voter fraud. There's a hearing into the issue today in a key swing state. Eric Shawn, extraordinaire, expert looking at all of this. He joins us live from Cleveland. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Gretchen. You know, they say as Ohio goes this election year, so goes the nation in the presidential race, which is why there's so much concern here about Acorn. Acorn says and admits here in Ohio that they can't stop the fraud, they can't stop the wrongdoing, they don't have the resources or the ability to do that. Well, today, the supervisors of the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections were in Cleveland. Will hear firsthand testimony from people who say they registered multiple times. One guy who said he was paid in cigarettes and cash. That's illegal, potential bribery by Acorn workers. Someone else who said he was registered 72 times. This is just the latest of more than a dozen investigations around the country. Here are some suspect alleged fake forms that we have from our investigation from Missouri. I showed these forms yesterday to the interim director of Acorn's organizing, Bertha Lewis, and here's what she said. Look for yourself. This is in paperwork. It's black and white.
1.3 million registered voters, okay? And what you're talking about is less than 1/10%. Again, 13,000 workers over 18 months.
But it's still against the law, and it's still a felony.
It is against the law, and you know what?
It's a felony. You
know what? We want people that do this, fake it, we want them prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Well, Acorn here in Ohio says that the problem is minimal. They've handed in about 65,000 registrations in this county, that they think only about 50 cards are suspect. The investigation will see if that is true or not. The hearing starts in about an hour from now. And people, by the way, Gretchen, are already voting. And all they have to do now is say 4 Social Security numbers or the 4 numbers of the driver's license. They do not have to show ID at all here right now as they vote. Back to you in New York.
All right, Eric, thank you very much for the update. And for more on Acorn now, I'm joined by the host of Fox News' Red Eye, Greg Gutfeld, and Fox News contributor and syndicated columnist Michelle Malkin. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
Good morning.